so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Craig and Petey, back in the More Furniture chairs in downtown Phoenix. After a relatively smooth travel experience as a whole,
almost
the
perfect.
NHL Draft.
Except you.
Yeah. So,
but it's funny because it's usually Craig. And if people that follow along with Craig's travels, they usually go horrifically wrong.
Yep.
And I think when we landed on the first stretch of this journey into Nashville, I think we were all surprised that we actually got in ahead of schedule.
20 minutes early.
Was on the plane. And we still got there on time.
We got there.
Not on time,
We
early.
got there early on the way there. We had no delays. Like, everything was amazing on the way there. Everything was amazing on the way back.
Mm-hmm. Early again. Early arrival again on the way back.
amazing's a stretch, though. Like,
Amazing.
Buddy, we were up at 3 a.m. That's not ideal.
Right.
I don't care what
And
anybody
Petey
says.
was right behind me in the plane snoring. So there's that too.
But
That
it came
sounds
to an
made up.
end. So I jumped the gun because I messaged Discord when we landed. And I said, oh my God, we landed. Like, I was thinking, wow, it really happened. And then we go to baggage claim and
1 bag, 2 bag, 3 bag, 4 bag, 5. Oh, where's the sixth bag?
Sixth bag? Whose bag is it? It's mine.
Mm-hmm.
My bag is in Dallas, Texas at the moment.
Which makes
Supposedly, allegedly. So, yeah, it was almost perfect. It's fine. It is what it is. We almost had a perfect trip travel-wise, but we didn't. It's okay. I'll take the L on that one.
You're going to get your bag back today, right? That's what they told you? Allegedly.
But she also said, don't quote me. She was like, this is
Don't quote me.
She was like,
I'm only a spokesperson for the company.
She literally was like, this is the flight it's on. It should be here. But if it's not, like,
Don't blame me. Don't blame
that's
me.
pretty much what she was saying. So anyway.
Can we talk a little bit more about airplane etiquette? Because I saw more violations.
We saw Craig.
Brother, I was violated for about 3 straight hours.
See him?
Okay, Sean start.
Oh
start.
my God.
I don't like the way that was turned, but go ahead.
It was true.
I wanna hear-
It was true.
I want to hear what Sean says.
Petey and I, we get on the flight, we sit down, no one's in between us
Put
right away.
yourself on the screen so the people
I
can
guess
see you.
I guess we can do that.
You were good this morning, bright and early.
Hey. So yeah, Petey and I get on the flight, whatever. Sitting, I got a window seat, got an aisle seat. That's kind of the way we rock. And this nice woman comes, eventually sits in between us, almost immediately falls asleep.
Yep,
and
which is fine.
And
Sleep on a plane, good.
Yeah, which is fine. I plan on sleeping, but her head drops, and then she just starts drifting. And basically the entire flight is sleeping on my shoulder.
She had her head, like you thought they'd be like in a relationship.
Yeah, no, for real.
She had, first of all, because I'm sure she's listening.
Yeah,
She
absolutely.
was head to toe.
Yeah.
Fendi sweatsuit.
Yep.
And I knew it was Fendi because it said the word Fendi.
Yep.
Literally
Can
from
confirm.
her ankles to her
In
neck.
case you didn't know, yeah.
If you didn't know it was Fendi, it's Fendi because it was matching head to toe. And literally her head was on his shoulder for 3 hours and 20
Don't
minutes.
those pillows bend now where you can prevent
do.
that?
We don't
I mean,
do
it's almost
that.
like a
The
hard
only person I've ever seen do that is you.
I do it.
You don't do that.
I don't do it. That's
I
definitely
do
to me.
it. It keeps me very secure.
Yeah.
I don't want to be secure because I want to be leaning up against the
Yeah.
wall.
Well,
She
I
wanted to
mean,
be leaning on you.
Well, she wanted to be leaning
now
on me,
you
I
have
guess.
second thoughts.
And she had her shoes off.
She had her shoes off, which, but that one's not as bad for
Did
me.
you
'cause
notice what her socks were?
No.
No.
Were they Fendi?
But
The,
I mean,
the
it's not as
Airbender.
bad as
Avatar, the
lying on your
Airbender.
shoulder. Yeah, like physical
But I mean,
contact.
because my
It was
first reaction,
physical
I saw
contact.
that she didn't have her shoes on. I was like, ah. And then I was like, I'm wearing Crocs. Like, it's the difference between the exposure of my socks and hers are very minimal.
That's
so I can't really get on my high horse there. But the crazy part to me was that after we landed, like we were on the ground, and she kept falling asleep and falling on me. Like we were
People are in
on the
overhead
ground. People are
bins,
getting up,
and she's still
asleep
sleeping
on
on.
my shoulder. I'm like, what are we?
Her husband was between you guys.
I wish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They were front and back.
He fell asleep the second we got on too.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad that I know that. I didn't know that was her husband because we've said this all along. Leah's in the window seat. I'm in the aisle. The middle seat gets the armrest. I am cool with that. I will never ever begrudge someone that.
Was he?
This guy
Yes.
had the elbows.
We
He
haven't
had
even
aggressive
talked about
elbows.
this.
Well, like there's a plane there. Like he broke
So
the
they
plane.
both
He broke
crossed.
the plane
They
of my
both-
seat
yeah.
that I paid money for.
And she
His elbow
clearly
was
crossed
well
the
into
plane.
it.
She was over the plane.
Nick's comment: a full Fendi sweatsuit and flying in economy, middle seat nonetheless. Wild.
Yeah. So a couple of violations I saw. First of all, when you're going through security and you're waiting for your bin to like slide out, when you get your bin, you gotta walk it all the way to the end. Because if you're the asshole standing there and taking your stuff out and blocking everyone else's stuff from
in the
coming
thing.
down, you're an asshole. you're also an asshole if you take all your stuff out and leave the bin.
bin
Like,
in the
stack
middle.
the bins.
Oh, yes.
Put the bin away.
Stack the bins and go put them in
Clean
the
up
pile.
after
It
yourself.
takes 10 seconds. And it was so funny. So this man, like, he was wearing a suit jacket and like he looked like a
Not
guy
his first time on a plane.
Yeah. And he doesn't. I literally look at the bins. I go, that's so annoying. Like, that's such a pet peeve. And this girl next to me goes, out loud, goes, ugh, that's such a pet peeve. And I look at her and I was like, I was just thinking
Exactly.
that. So we cleaned out after him.
terrible.
Asshole.
I got a few more that I wrote down today that I noticed. Okay, I literally wrote them down because I was tired and I knew I wouldn't remember them otherwise. You get to the front of the line before security. What do you have to show? Every time.
Oh
Like,
my
this
God.
never
Have your
changes.
ID out.
ID.
Oh. Then someone's rustling
ID.
through their bag. Where did I put my ID and my ticket? Like, is
We've
this
been
your
in
first
line
time
for
flying? Did
we've
you
been in
not
line
know that you
20
had to
minutes.
identify yourself?
20 minutes to a half hour we've been standing in line.
Absolutely unacceptable. And on a similar note, I don't know if this is something you wrote down, but in the check-in area, something that we had talked about is the people leaving water bottles just kind of on the ground as if there's not going to be a trash can for them to throw water out. Seems like they're just kind of scared of getting yelled at by a mean TSA agent, even though they know there's a trash can
walk 10
5 feet away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. A couple more. It drives me crazy when people think that they can walk in like this flying V formation, like
Down
7 wide, and
in the
take up the
aisle.
entire aisle, and they're moving 1 mile an hour. Like, you don't own the airport.
Yeah.
You don't own the entire
People are
aisle.
late
Like,
for flights. People
go
are
single
moving. Let's
file,
go.
go 2
People
or
are
3,
like
but like,
and can't sit down and need to
yeah,
pace.
Yeah.
but I'm sorry, your entire family of 7 cannot walk side by side and have a conversation in the airport. You need to let other people get
And don't
past you.
stop in the middle.
Yes,
too.
if that's what I was going to say. If you stop, go to the walls.
Yep. Go
Get
to the walls. Go to the walls. Don't stop. Adjust your phone. Look for something
in the
your
middle of the
bag.
aisle like this.
Yep.
I
will
will
say-
drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I still maintain that you're an asshole if you recline your seat at all.
Oh,
Agreed now.
Yeah.
The guy-
Which is sad, right? Because like you should be able to do that for comfort.
They've just made
but
it
the
all
airlines
so
have
tight.
made the space
Yeah.
is so tight that you can't do it now with being viewed.
Because I know
without
Leah
being
had
viewed.
said previously that she sometimes reclines a little bit, and I was really worried she was going to, and I was
She did.
honest.
I thought about you behind me and I
I
didn't do
appreciate
it.
that because my knees were already on the back of the chair. So
Yeah.
if you had it all, I would have been.
On
I
a
would have
positive
admittedly been
note,
pissed.
we got there early. We got through. We got our bags on. Everything was great. And as I tend to do, I clicked on my outdoor walk, and Sean and I hit the concourse, and we went through the sea concourse. We had a lap. And
Petey
I told
doesn't
him we
sit
had
down
some
when he
lap.
gets
Petey
to an
does not
airport.
sit down.
Never
That's
sits
what I
down.
learned
It was-
on the trip.
yeah, I think you've changed my life though, Petey. I don't
But
think
you
I'll
don't
ever
sit
down
down.
again.
Here's why you don't sit down. There's a couple reasons you don't sit down. You're going to sit down for 3.5 hours. I don't need to sit down for 4.5 hours. So I'm going to walk, get my exercise on, and then I'll be more tired out. 2, I know the lay of the airport. In case I ever go there again, I know where every restaurant is. I know where the coffee shop. I know where the bathrooms are. And then you just make this loop. So now I'm exercising, scanning the airport, looking for people. And the second we got done, what happened? Mile and a half.
We literally
Our boarding group
We
was
literally could have walked right under the plane from
Our
our lap.
boarding group was up the second our mile and a half. We walked a mile and a half by 5 a.m. Central Time, 3 a.m. Arizona time.
But one more faux pas occurred when we got on the plane and Leah pointed it out.
Oh my God, this one killed me.
Go ahead.
So you put your stuff in the overhead.
Yes.
So when you put your thing in the overhead, at the very least, you should have it so it's the smallest part of the suitcase is
You go
facing
on the
out.
side and wheels in.
Yes, wheels
On the side, like a book. That's what
on
they
the
say.
side,
Like a book.
wheels in. This man puts it long ways in, long ways,
Like taking up 3
taking
spots.
People are
up
just
3
dumb.
spots, and I just was like, watched it happen.
She points it out, and then I'm just looking at it like,
Yeah, I
As
was.
a flight
I was
attendant-
got up and
too.
changed it myself.
Me too. The flight attendant ended up doing it to try and get more bags to fit. But like common sense, if you don't like tilt it on its side, because at least you put it in, the narrow way. But
Yep.
tilt it on its side, it literally says it inside the thing how to put it in.
It's
Yeah.
also just
If
common
you need
sense.
help, ask for it.
I think my biggest, the root of all of my problems at the airport is just a complete lack of self-awareness and people acting like
Yes.
they are
Yep.
the only one there.
Yep.
Like when you're getting on the plane, pick your fucking bag up and walk it to your seat. There's no reason to be dragging shit around behind you and hitting everybody as you just pick your shit up.
right, like rolling it over feet.
Yeah,
and
like, what the fuck are we
smashing
doing?
in.
You're just being a lazy piece of shit if that's the case. Pick it up and put it in. Like
Now,
people are lazy
granted,
at
like some
airports.
people can't lift a bag, right? Like,
Yeah, that's fine.
you give them a pass, but and also backpacks, right? They tell you put it on your seat. Like,
Oh, yes,
if
that's
there's
another one.
space at the end,
Yep,
like
yep,
right before
yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna take off, if there's a space for your backpack, fine, put it up there. But don't take it away from someone with a roll bag. Come
Yeah.
on.
So annoying.
All right.
Anyway, but we made it. We
We've
made it
griped
back. We just finished draft week, and much like the NHL GMs and scouts, no rest in between the draft and free agency, which kicks off at 9 a.m. Arizona time tomorrow, Saturday, July 1st. crazy turnaround for those guys and crazy turnaround for us too, but I can't complain given what they're going through. So we're going to look at what the Arizona Coyotes, what their free agent situation looks like, who might become a free agent for them, who they might re-sign, and what sorts of free agents they'll go after here in a second. But before we move on to free agency, I just want to give everyone the opportunity to give any final thoughts on our Nashville trip, the NHL draft, the Coyotes in the draft, kind of just, we can put that behind until we get to development camp next week.
I'm grateful to our diehards for making
Yes.
a major commitment to come across the country. And a lot of them came. I hope they had a good time. I had a good time hanging out with them and getting to know them. It was the right size so that we could spend quality time talking to every one of them. I like that part of it. I'm also thankful for all you guys, because I thought we killed it. We just killed it with our coverage while we were in Nashville. And the Coyotes give us such good access, right? We get such good access to this team to really tell all of the stories that need to be told.
It was nice being part of a team, and I don't mean just this team. I meant including the diehards. It was really nice. I think the draft itself, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm done talking about it. Did they do good or bad? We'll have more next week.
How many total hours do you think you talked about it this week?
Oh my God, my throat! It sounds like smooth jazz, but it's Sean deposit. I've done a lot of talking.
Yeah.
Keeping you safe, soft, and warm in the loving embrace of my storm on BLK. That's so that is from a Drake song where he samples like a radio guy from Buffalo, like way back in the day.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Buffalo, heard of it?
Heard of it?
So I'm hoping you put this behind us, and I know we'll talk about these guys a lot over development camp and for the years to come. We'll see if it was a good draft or not, but now we can start preparing
for next year.
Game one.
Yeah, for game one. And that's what free agency is all about. Before we get to that, I just want to give a shout out to Timothy in the chat. He's from Slovakia and he's tuning in to our show. So welcome, Timothy. And then also the Angry Budgie. Hey guys, hello from Manchester, newest diehard checking in. So appreciate you guys. Welcome to the family.
It's early or late there? I don't know.
Later.
It's later in the day.
It's later in the day?
But it's not like late.
Okay.
I
don't know
guess.
how time zones work.
It's like 8 hours or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, the best part about being back in Arizona is knowing that there's a Four Peaks fridge like 10 feet from me. I got to say, when you're, we didn't go out a ton, but when we were out and ordering drinks, like I just wanted to be able to order a Four Peaks, and that was really hard for me.
Especially the outdoor shows.
Yeah.
I really could
Yeah.
I did say I was going to grab a wow for the show.
We were talking smack when we left. Yeah, that's not happening today.
I don't think that
we pass out on the show.
It's all good. But we'll be partaking this weekend, I'm sure, in Four Peaks. So excited to be back because I know anywhere I can walk into, anywhere that sells beers, they'll have Four Peaks here in Arizona. And I'm really grateful for that. So check out Four Peaks wherever you buy your beer. You can also check out the 8th Street Pub. You can check them out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly.
Now listen to Shane with this disclaimer.
Speaking of partaking,
we might also be partaking in OGs later. It's been a go mentality for the last, not just the last week, but especially the last week, and might help to unwind before the go of tomorrow's free agency by taking an OGs, and that brand new pink lemonade flavor has been phenomenal. So check it out if you haven't already. Sean's new favorite flavor, I believe it's an indica, right, Sean? I think it's an indica gummy. But anywho, check it out. Delicious. But if you're not into that, they have something for everyone. Microdose, Sleep Edition, Indica Sativa, etc. So don't miss out when it comes to flavor and effect. Get your pink lemonade gummies while you can. You can check out OGs online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary. You must be 21 or older to purchase. All right. Let's talk about it. It is free agency, but let's specifically see what's up with the Arizona Coyotes. And we'll start with their current situation, their current cap situation, their current roster situation. And we'll put it on the screen here. Right now, the Coyotes are currently at $55.2 million in contracts. The cap floor this upcoming year is 61.7, so they're still need to hit that. Obviously, the cap ceiling is 83.5. I think we all know the Coyotes are not going to be a cap team this season, but there's still 10 roster spots available. So we'll talk about how they might go about filling those roles, but it's going to be, there's a lot that needs to get done between now and when's the first game, October 13th or 14th. A lot that needs to happen because they need to fill out this roster.
Yeah, and just to be clear, like 10 roster spots if they sign all of their RFAs. Right now they have, according to Cap Friendly, they have 32 standard contracts. The max is 50. Now the Coyotes probably won't get all the way to 50. They'll leave some flexibility. Most teams do. But that's a lot of work to do. Even if you sign all your RFAs, and those negotiations, by the way, aren't always easy. We saw Lawson Krause go to arbitration or nearly go to arbitration. They were in the courtroom. They have some guys that are arbitration eligible this year. You could see some tough fights, especially for a team that is pinching dollars. I don't want to say pennies because it's not really pennies. They're pinching dollars.
When the cap floor is $61 million.
Yeah. And they're not going to be, they're obviously not going to be a cap team. They're not going to be anywhere near the ceiling. They're going to be at the bottom of it again. And they've got all that dead money too. They're really running a tight budget right now. That makes it really hard on a GM, but you got to do what you got to do. So they got to get through all of those. And then they still have to fill a lot of roster spots. We'll get into all the details of that, but it's a lot of work for Bill Armstrong, who just flew out of the draft on Thursday night on Alex Morello's private jet with the 2 first-round picks, got back, and here we go. And it's not like he wasn't even working on this while he was there. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, they said, and it was a great quote. I think it was Daryl Plandowski that said it, like he was running between the amateur scout meetings and the pro scout meetings. And I'm not going to spoil the quote because you're probably going to put it in your story.
I'm going to use it in my story.
But an amazing all-time quote from Bill Armstrong. That'll come in Craig's story later today on GoPHNX.com.
There's so many things this team is juggling right now and trying to put a roster on the ice. And one of the things that I look at that concerns me about doing that, just an overarching theme, is their trip to Australia.
Yeah.
Because that makes this even more difficult because you have, we've talked about it, that preseason game, they've got 3 games in the same day.
The triple header in 3 different cities.
And a triple header means you need 3 teams of players. It means you have to have at least 60, if not more, because if somebody gets hurt. When 1/3 of that group is halfway around the world. I do
and really
think,
your NHL guys, right?
Yeah, your NHL. Yeah. So that makes it very, very difficult. One, it makes it difficult to prepare for training camp because you don't have everybody together. And that includes staff and coaches. And now you have to water down the talent because you've got so many guys here that you guys on PTOs. And you're still trying to fill roster spots for the current roster with RFAs, UFAs, trades, whatever. I think they've got some challenges here over the next very short, 60, 90 days. So they've got a lot of things ahead of them.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's interesting. But we'll look at what approach they could take, but let's start with the current UFA and RFA situation. Only a couple UFAs for the Coyotes this year. Brett Ritchie
on the NHL roster.
On the NHL roster, Brett Ritchie and Connor Mackey, both UFAs as of 9 a.m. Tomorrow morning. And then as for the RFAs on the NHL roster, you got Christian Fischer, Matthias Michelli. I feel like I had to do that. And Jack McBain. That's on the NHL roster, of course. Boko Imama is a UFA on the AHL roster. You got Cam Crotty on RFA in Tucson, Prosvetov RFA, David Tendick RFA, Jan Yannick RFA, and Nathan Smith RFA as well. So yeah, like you mentioned, Bill Armstrong's got a lot on his to-do list, but how do you see maybe the UFA and RFA situation panning out here?
So this will all be in my story as well, but in terms of the UFAs, at least the 2 guys that we mentioned that are on the NHL roster were late additions last season, Brett Ritchie and Connor Mackey. I don't think either of those guys are going to be back with the team. So those will be 2 roster spots. And we're not counting, their 32 roster contracts already. Those are 2 more roster spots that can be filled by younger guys or acquisitions. I don't see either of those guys ending up back. I'm not sure Ritchie was a fit. And Connor Mackey, probably more of a contract situation. So I don't think they'll be coming back.
Yeah. You looked at what they've done with this over the last several years and what kind of players to look for. I know we're going to get to that later, but I don't think Ritchie or Mackey fit what they were doing. We know they were just last at the trade deadline acquisitions to get them through.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they build the roster without those guys. And
Right.
I don't think they
You
were
need
intended to be
flexibility,
pieces.
right?
Yeah.
Between Tucson and the NHL.
And
That's
they-
part of this here.
It's a bummer. Connor Mackey had great hair. So
Yeah,
the
fair.
hair
And you could
lineup
also
takes
say
the hit.
okay every time you mentioned it.
Okay.
But yeah, the RFAs, I mean, I think
The RFAs is more interesting.
we
for
all,
sure.
yeah, like, and looking at these guys, I mean, Matthias Michelli and Jack McBain specifically, I think we talk about them being part of this team's future.
Yep.
So in my mind, I have no doubt that they're going to get offered. Now it's just a matter of how the contracts will shake out. It's interesting though, and it's always a tough time of year because do they get offered or not? And then if they do, then does it? How does the contract situation play out? It's a very interesting time of year, but I think we should know later today, right?
Yeah, well, the qualifying offers will go out. Today's the deadline, so we'll know. They will release that. Christian Fischer interests me, and I wrote about this a while ago, like wondering, if Christian Fischer accepts a 1-year deal, I almost feel like that's him saying, bye, I'm gone after this year if they don't give him a longer-term deal. I'm not sure what those negotiations look like. I was in Europe for 3 weeks. And then we went to Nashville, so haven't been able to check in on that yet. But I'm wondering where that one goes. Does it get to a point where Christian Fischer wants something the Coyotes aren't willing to give, so they trade him? I don't know yet, but I'll be watching that one closely. I think we're all in agreement here that we do not want to see Christian Fischer go anywhere else.
Please, no.
Wait, and you talk about the 3 RFAs on this team that we talked about, Michelli, McBain, and Fischer, are the 3 RFA guys that are on the NHL roster. Of those 3, I don't think there's any question McBain and Michelli, they're going to be here in October.
They'll get it done.
The Fischer one interests me, and that's the one to keep the closer eye on because Fischer wants to sign a long-term deal here. It's not necessarily even about the money. It's about the security and the long-term. He wants to be here. So I think that's what he's looking for. The team is trying to walk a fine line of, hey, we've got a future to protect.
Yep.
And what we're going for in the future, we're not quite sure where Christian Fischer is going to fit into that future. So we don't want to be locked into anything down the road. I think that having Fischer short-term for them fits and works. From the outside looking in, Christian Fischer is a Coyote for me. This is the team he fits with. The value of Christian Fischer is greater here in Arizona than it is at another team because of the capital he has gained by playing here, training here, being a draft pick
Being
here.
the voice and person that he is, right?
So I think in the locker room, I think it's important to have guys that really, one, support the organization's path to what they're doing here in Arizona, and that Christian Fischer is absolutely the voice of that. Second, he is a leader in how this is being, inside the locker room, in the weight room, how they are as a professional organization. Christian Fischer is carrying that banner to some extent of that middle core, and he's probably the guy with the loudest voice. The problem comes in is where the fit is for him as a hockey player. And that's the concern. Because when you look around, at some point they keep thinking younger and willing to need guys to developing into these spots. And Christian Fischer plays a bottom 6 forward role on the wing. And that could be a spot that you're looking at. New draft picks, new prospects could be there learning and developing. And secondarily, when you look at him being on another team, so you got to watch how much you ask for because you don't want to price yourself out and look for a spot on another team because the other team is doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
They've got a 22, 23-year-old or a 21-year-old that's just coming up that's going to fill that spot on that line. A little younger legs and a little more energy. So to me, Christian Fischer's a Coyote. He belongs here. He fits here. He helps here. Even if he just helps bridge them here to the other side of this rebuild, I think Fischer should be a Coyote.
I agree. I do agree. Well, obviously there's those 10 roster spots that we mentioned, but that's not necessarily to say that they need to sign 10 free agents because there's a couple of Tucson Roadrunners players that are kind of knocking on the door of earning an NHL spot. Obviously, Michael Carcone signed that 2-year one-way deal.
Yeah, and he's not waivers exempt, which is a key thing.
Last week or the week before, so that kind of leads you to believe that he might be part of the opening night roster. You got guys like Victor Soderstrom, who had a long stint with the Coyotes in the second half of the year. So there's a few guys on the Roadrunners who can fill some spots. Obviously, this is just projecting and speculating, but if just right now, if you had to go with your gut, which Tucson guys could you see making the opening night roster and how many?
Kolyachonok is one guy to watch. I think they thought he was their best defenseman down there last year. So he's a guy to watch. He did get a little time. We'll see about Jan Jeník, right? He's been in the organization for a little while. I don't know that he's taken the strides that they had hoped.
The injury last year really set him back.
It did. It absolutely did.
Boot.
But he also has the grit, right? He plays with that edge, that sandpaper style that probably fits the type of team that Bill Armstrong wants to field. So I'd keep an eye on him as well. And you mentioned a couple other names, so I think those are some of the.
But
keys
I want to get
right
the RFAs first out of the way, so people know who are those RFAs on that squad. It's Nathan Smith and Jan Jeník up front. We both think that Jan Jeník is going to be a part of this going forward. My quick take on Jan Jeník, I like that he's on the edge. I don't think he's learned where that edge is yet, and he better learn it if he wants to play in the NHL every day, because he can't sit in the box for 4, 6, 8, 10 minutes a night. If he doesn't learn that, he won't be able to play.
Yeah.
Nathan Smith, to me, I hope they can get him signed a 2-way deal and get him back to Tucson.
I think he's a valuable player.
I do too, and I hope they can have him as a call-up guy, experience, and I thought he was good down in Tucson, so I hope they get that one done. On the back end, it's Cameron Crotty. I don't know where they're at with Cameron Crotty. I don't know, and now they're seeing us draft more defensemen. They are drafting more defensemen. I think that the flexibility on a player like Cameron Crotty, I think they will try to sign him to a 2-way deal.
Yeah, but he feels like a guy that is never going to be more than.
No, he's a right-handed defenseman in the American League.
Defensive defenseman.
But when we talk about filling roster spots, it's not just on the Coyotes. Like they need to fill roster spots in the American League too. So
I like Cam Crotty as a guy that if you had to, you might be able to call him up. To Craig's point, I'm not sure he's an everyday defenseman in the NHL. But I would absolutely re-sign him if they can for a spot in.
Yeah, he can help him down there.
Yeah, but back on the back end too, you talk about Kolyachonok, another guy that we saw later in the year, and Kesselring is one.
Yes,
that they went after when they were looking at the trade deadline, and one that we heard from one of our draft experts, Maximilian Zuber.
Yeah,
so he might be closer than you think.
I think he needs a year in the A to acclimate to the North American game, but they like him. They really like him.
I would say, but depending on the injury status, I would say he makes his NHL debut this year.
Yeah, I could see that. We see so many guys make their debuts with injuries. One guy, if you're looking in goal, I still think they're going to qualify Ivan Prosvetov, but I really think that David Tendek's time with the organization is probably over. They want to back up, I think, in Tucson that's going to push Ivan Prosvetov. They already drafted a bunch of goalies this past weekend, so they were sending a message there. I think they're going to send another message by bringing in a backup in Tucson. Maybe that's not really a backup, but more like a 1A, 1B where, hey, if you don't bring it, if you're not consistent this season, this guy's going to take over for you.
I agree with Tendek, and I think that they'll probably move on from that contract. The Prosvetov one, we talked about his ability to clear waivers. He has to clear waivers to go back down and play in Tucson. Now that they've got Ingram and Vejmelka back, he has to clear waivers. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Me either.
There's so many. I just don't think teams are going to look at his body of work from last year and go, God, we need this guy right now on our NHL roster.
Which is what
if
has
they could
to
send him
happen.
down the American League, I think there was teams that would take a chance at him, but not in the NHL. So I think they will qualify him. They'll get him back in Tucson. And to your point, I do think they'll look at another goalie there. Well, they wait for the 3 guys they drafted to be ready for that next step. I don't anticipate any of the guys that they signed in this year's draft making a stab at Tucson. I just don't see it.
No.
I'm excited to talk. We've got on tap to talk to Corey Schwab at the goalie coach of the Coyotes after he gets a chance to look at these guys during development camp. I can't wait to see the goaltenders on the ice and see that, because these are all massive guys. Like Rabel's 6'7".
That's insane, right?
He is so big. So I want to see his movement, and we'll talk to Corey Schwab at the end of the week and see where his thoughts are on where these guys, what their development path looks like, and what he thought of them. But I think you're right. I think now that they have those 3, they're either going to all hit and they're going to be tradable assets, or one of them's going to hit and they'll have a starter for the next decade. I don't know which. Let's just hope something positive happens with the goalies. So at the back end, I think they re-signed Prosvetov. And I think Tendek moves on. Yeah,
so they'll need a backup. They probably also need somebody in the ECHL.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll bother with, someone that they believe is a genuine prospect or just a stopgap.
And one thing when you talk about the ECHL, I want to make it it's the path for a forward or defenseman from the ECHL to the National Hockey League is very, very difficult.
Yep.
The path for a goaltender from the ECHL is commonplace.
Yeah.
It's because there's only 6 jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to have a place for guys to play. You just can't put 4 goalies on Tucson.
Very true. I know that we have a lot of questions in the chat about guys the Coyotes could sign, target. So we're going to look at the NHL free agency market as a whole, and then specifically for the Coyotes. in a moment. But we did mention our trip to Nashville and how amazing it was. And I think every single person on that trip was a PHNX diehard, which is awesome because those people, they all got 20% off on this trip. We did an amazing pontoon boat ride, which was one of the highlights of the week. A pre-draft meetup at Love and Exile. We did a winery tour at Love and Exile yesterday. That was phenomenal. So just a ton of great stuff. And all of the PHNX diehard events are 20% off. Because you're a diehard, you also get 20% off in the PHNX locker, so you can grab your merchandise there, and also you get a free shirt or hat every year at sign up. So make sure to check out phnxlocker.com to grab your membership and receive exclusive content, discounts on all events and merch, and access to our Discord chats, as well as access to Craig's weekly diehard only pieces that come out once a week as well. Listen, when you come back from a trip, sometimes you don't want to go to the grocery store. You just want to pick something up. And I'm thinking about Illegal Pete's a little bit, especially since I have to go back to the airport. Maybe I'll swing by, pick myself up some dinner.
Illegal Pete's sounds good tonight.
And all up to Nashville, but Mexican food's not really their thing over there.
Yeah,
I miss that.
yeah. Illegal Pete's
definitely missing it.
Knows what's up, and they know what's up with not just the food, but the margaritas as well. So for this Monday, you can kick off your week with Margarita Monday at Illegal Pete's, exclusive to Arizona location. $3 margs all day, every Monday. Nothing brightens up that Monday mood more than soaking up the sun with a few margaritas. And don't forget about Taco Tuesdays, $2 tacos all day, every Tuesday. Enjoy your favorite chicken, pork, and veggie tacos for just $2. Swing by and start your week off the right way at Illegal Pete's. All right, so I think there's a big question mark for the Coyotes going into next year. Will they be better or worse? What kind of step are they going to take? And that question kind of starts tomorrow with what sorts of free agents are they going to go after?
I will give away this quote.
Okay, this quote's amazing.
Because I talked to Bill Armstrong this morning, and he said, essentially, don't expect us to be shopping on the Gucci or Prada aisles. That's not going to happen. And listen,
great quote.
If you read the analysis of this year's free agent crop, you probably already know that a lot of people think it stinks. That's a really bad free agent class. So you don't want to be overpaying for the guys at the top of this class. Free agency, and Bill will say this over and over again, is where the biggest mistakes often get made. You overpay for guys, you give them too much term, and then a few years down the road, you're like, oh, how do I get out of this? Oh, I'll go to the Coyotes, and then we'll complain that the Coyotes are doing this, even though they bailed me out of my bad decision. The Coyotes are not going to be shopping for those type of players. They're going to be looking for value guys. In addition to that, I still think they're open to trades. And some of those trades could be like what we saw with Sean Dursey, or some of those trades could be a team signs a free agent and then they suddenly have to move out salary. So there could be an opportunity for the Coyotes. With all of these moves, they could even claim guys off waivers, right? Which will come closer to training camp. They did with the use of Valimaki. With all of these processes, I would say the Coyotes are going to be patient. There may be an opportunity that comes along on the first day of free agency and they sign a guy. But a lot of their moves could come late, well into the summer, later into the summer, even around training camp. They'll continuously be looking for value players that they can add. They do want to take a step forward, so they'll be looking for a little different profile than they've been looking for in the past. But they'd still be interested maybe in getting guys that they could flip at the deadline that could still add something to this roster like Nick Bjugstad did. Again, patience will be the order of the day because they're not going to be actively pursuing those big names, quote unquote big names, because there really aren't any on the first day of free agency.
Yeah, normally you've got a guy that everybody's trying to target at free agency and everybody's going, oh, where is this guy going to go? I don't know if that guy exists right now. You look at players' names like Patrick Kane's hurt, and I don't think he's going to be able to dive into getting the Patrick Kane
past his prime,
right now.
He could overpay big time.
Bergeron's on the list, but he's not going to play.
No.
So you look at the names. I just went through the top 20 names. Phil Kessel that they got right now in the top 20. Phil Kessel's not going to be a Coyote again.
Nope.
Just throwing that out there. So don't wait for the Phil Kessel trade. The problem I see with the free agent market is the age these players are at in their career. So the younger end of the free agent market is still 20, 29, 30. I don't see Bill Armstrong putting major assets into a 30-year-old player right now.
No, you don't want something that's going to hurt you down the road. That's going to hamstring you down the road.
So I think that when they get to free agency and you start looking at the names, like even Michael Bunting's a guy that they've had in this organization. You got Max Domi's been here, Bunting's been here. These guys aren't coming back.
Nope.
Like those type of players aren't what they're looking for the future. I think younger.
Yep.
So what I think, to Craig's point, if people are here waiting for us to go, I think the Coyotes are going to target Thomas Tatar. No, they're not.
Nope.
If you
go
heard
get
of the
Alex
guy,
DeBrincat. Nope.
Nope.
Not happening.
Nope. They're not going to target guy. If you've heard of him, they're not targeting him.
And if they're a big ticket guy, no, it's
Yeah.
not going to happen. It doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah, so I think if you can look at what they made last year, if they made $2 million or more, they're not coming. If they're 30 years older, they're not coming. You know, we talked last year about what Nick Bjugstad was able to do. He's also back as a free agent. I would love to see Nick Bjugstad back in a Coyote form. I would love it. I just don't
Yeah, you
know.
would.
I don't know how that fits unless this goes long. And I agree with Craig. I think this team is going to be filled mostly, and I think you're going to see a lot of activity off the waiver wire, because that's for players that are just on that fringe. You'll see teams try to send down 12, 15 guys at a time during training camp.
Yep.
And sneak this guy through. I'm going to sneak this guy
Who'd
through.
they get last year?
Well,
Yusuf
Valimaki
And Connor
and
Ingram.
Connor Ingram.
Yeah. Both for free.
Yep.
So I really believe that's going to be their path, because you look at what they did with Valimaki. He's a young player on the way up that's just not quite ready for the team that he was for Calgary. He was not quite ready.
Well,
he was
not ready for Daryl
here.
Sutter.
Yeah, well, he's ready for
Right.
here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think when they have so many spots to fill, and guess what? You have nothing to lose. You pick the player up off on waivers. You let him go play in the Wichita game when they're in St. Louis, Wichita, and across over in Australia. I can't think this.
We
It's
are
hard.
very tired.
But so when you have all those, you pick him up on waivers. You know what? If he doesn't fit after that, put him back up on waivers. You're done.
Yeah.
So I think waivers is really where this team is going to cash in, as it were, and pick up players. And they might get lucky again, because last year, lucky or not, Connor Ingram was on the verge of being an NHL player, and they picked him up, and now he is. Valimaki, I know Calgary was disappointed to lose a player of his caliber in their development pipeline. He's been very good here. I think Bill's going to do that again this year. I think he's going to go at it more aggressively than he did a year ago to fill spots that he saved last year for players like Nick Bjugstad. Because when you look at their dead cap money, they're closer to the cap. They're about $5 or $6 million away, with at least 10 roster spots still available.
Yeah.
So they're going to hit that cap number, so they
Yeah, no
don't need to
question.
pick up another contract to hit that. So the Patrick Kane deal, don't look for it.
No. He's already been a Coyote anyway.
Yes, very
Oh,
true.
that's right.
For
He was
5
briefly
seconds.
I forgot about that.
Michael said GMBA is a waiver Jedi.
He is, and there's so many benefits for Bill to go that route. You don't have a long-term commitment to the player. You can get a player of value. You're going to get a younger player. All of the boxes that he needs to check, he can check there. He needed Bjugstad and Goss to spare before, because he needed to flip those players into assets at the trade deadline. He needed a warm body on the team that he was hopefully able to trade at the end of the year. And that includes Richie, that he was able to turn into another player. So I don't know. I don't know. He said it. We heard him say it. That's not the path they're taking this year.
Yeah.
Now, if that player is available, and that's why I talk about Nick Bjugstad. Let's just say we're sitting here in September. Bjugstad doesn't have a team. We're a week before training camp, and Bjugstad agent goes, gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe let's call
Ben
Bill
Hankinson,
Armstrong.
by the way.
What's that?
Ben
Oh, it's Ben
Hankinson.
Hankinson, good Minnesota guy.
He is a good Minnesota
Let's
guy.
call Bill Armstrong. Bill, he loved it there. He liked the locker room culture. He loves the coach. We'll come back for X.
And oh, by the way, what's the center depth look like for the Coyotes right now?
Exactly.
They could use another center.
They could. And that's why I would never say never to a player like Nick Bjugstad that's an older player that can still add some value. I just don't think it's going to be till the last minute.
Yeah.
Until
and
he's
that's fair.
exhausted the RFAs, till he's exhausted some waiver options. And then at that point, if you can get a player like Nick Bjugstad coming back and go, well, we'll play for this, and we'll take a 1-year deal. Yes. Because guess what you do? You do the whole damn thing over again.
Yep, flip them again.
Nick, you come here, we'll pay you this,
Do
we'll
what
play
you
the
did.
hell out of you.
We'll flip you for another third
Yep.
round draft pick.
We'll play the hell out of you, and then come the trade deadline, we're going to put you on a team that's making a playoff run.
Yep.
Just do it again for us. So I'm the Minnesota hopeful hat on, and the Minnesota nice. I hope it happens. I really like Nick Bjugstad in this room. I liked him on the ice. I liked watching him at Mullet Arena because I thought he brought excitement there. He didn't fill the same role in Edmonton. He was good there, but he didn't carry the mail like he had to here. I hope something like that does happen. But if it does, don't look for that until September.
Oh, it would be amazing. Well, we have a number of questions in our chat. There were also some waiver moves for the intentions of buyouts. Matt Duchene, Riley, Yamamoto, Blake Wheeler. Come on down.
Can you imagine if he finally plays
come
for the
back
Coyotes?
to the Coyotes.
No,
come
thank
back
you.
to where it all began, Blake Wheeler. Just kidding. But let's get to a few of these questions in the chat. And I believe the first one was about Yamamoto from Carson. Any chance we could get a guy
No.
like Yamamoto, especially if we want to be a little
No
more
interest in
competitive?
bringing Yamamoto here. None.
Okay.
I've
I
asked.
think that's
I've
bottled it
asked.
up.
None.
Okay, perfect.
You asked.
Yeah,
So you
and
talked to me. This
Carson
isn't
wasn't
you,
the
this is
only
them.
one asking. So
So that's not speculation. That's you've asked.
I know. I've asked.
No interest.
all right.
Nope.
There you have it. Connor.
I think all the guys you're talking about, the money's just not going to fit to what they're trying to do.
Well, look at it. Look at Yamamoto too. What stands out about his profile as a player?
I don't know anything about him.
Does he strike you as a Bill Armstrong type of player?
No.
No, exactly.
Connor said, do you think we could take a chance on Logan Stanley from Winnipeg since he requested a trade last summer? We've seen a few questions about Logan Stanley.
I don't
also.
know.
I don't know, and it's another one of those.
He's 6'7",
It would be a maybe.
25.
It would be a maybe. I wouldn't write a player like that off. That's more in the wheelhouse of what that's a possibility for a Coyote player. So I wouldn't write that off. That doesn't ring all the alarm bells for me. Like, yeah, Bill's going to jump on that, but I wouldn't say no.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Carson also asked, Gunther make a roster spot this year or back to Seattle?
I think Gunther's coming.
I think
He's
it's
going to be on the
Coyote.
NHL roster. Now, having said that, if Gunther struggles at some point this season, could he play some games in Tucson to help him out? Yeah, I could see that happening, but I do think Dylan Gunther is going to be a pro next
But
season.
it's what are we, June? It's almost July.
July's tomorrow. Oh my
So,
God.
Players that are looking to make this roster, and Bill said it. It's not up to him. It's up to the player.
Yep.
If you come into camp, and I've seen it firsthand where guys come in here with every intention of we're sending that kid back. We're sending that kid back to junior. And blows the doors off in the training camp. And you go,
Great.
oh my goodness. Now we got to make a choice. He was for sure going back. He played in the first spring training, preseason game, and he was really good. But we played him again. He was pretty good. Like, this kid's making a difference. Gosh, we're going to have to make a decision. You need to do that. That's on the player. It's not on the coach or the manager. It's on the player to make them make a decision. If you go in there and you don't get noticed, you're going back to junior.
Yep.
And you know the player I'm thinking of specifically
Connor Geeky.
is Connor Geeky.
Yeah.
So Connor Geeky can come in here, and if Connor Geeky comes in here physically prepared, ready to play, and gets noticed, he might stay an extra day or two. You stay that extra day or two, now you get a game, and you go, God, he was really good in the game. And then you get another game. And then regular season starts, and you go, God, he's got 6 points through training camp. We got to put this kid in to give him another look. So maybe he's in makes the opening night roster. I don't know. I'm just saying Connor Geeky is interesting to me because he's a player physically, size-wise. I think he's the guy that's ready physically. He can continue to get bigger and stronger, but he's the one coming into training camp on that list of going back to junior or playing on this team is the most interesting to me. I think Dylan Gunther plays. I don't think there's any question he's going to be a Coyote. Yeah. I think sending him back to junior would be difficult for him personally, and I think it would be difficult for the franchise.
I think Connor Geeky needs more development. I don't think he's ready for the NHL. Even if they were to keep him early, I think at some point they'd have to send him back. I just don't think he's ready.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait.
I don't think he showed it last year that he was ready.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And it's funny though, Craig, you see it right away.
And summer matters, right? Summer can change things. Yeah.
Yes, and it's not this development camp. Don't evaluate anybody at this. Guys have different skating regimens at this point. Some guys haven't been on the ice since the regular season of their last team. Do not evaluate players in the summer, like meaning this development camp.
The team doesn't.
Team doesn't.
Yes, exactly.
They don't.
It's orientation. That's
and
what it is.
they'll tell them that. They'll say, we don't want guys getting hurt here, so don't overextend. Now, when you get to main camp, buddy, bring it.
Yep.
And you better stand out. Young guys have asked me all the time, what do I need to do? I said, do something. Just whatever it is that you're good at and you do well, do it better here. So that means practices. That means at the team meals. That means being on time, being everything, everywhere you go, doing it professionally in the right way. Because if you're an asshole off the ice, we use that word a lot today.
Yeah.
If you're that off the ice, they notice. It matters. So I think you can make this team, and you can definitely miss this team by your behavior and your practice habits and the way you perform in these games. Get noticed. I'm not ready to write Connor Geeky off because I haven't seen him in a year. I can't wait to see him and what he has developed. And you'll know, Craig, you're going to know in 48 hours.
Yeah.
After on camp, not 48 hours development camp.
Agreed.
And the other thing is, this rookie camp thing. That's a week, 10 days before main camp.
Yeah.
Grain of salt.
Because you're playing against other rookies.
You're playing against other rookies, and a lot of
players.
guys are PTO guys and invitees. Each team has about 4 or 5 legit prospects in that rookie development camp. You better be good at that. So don't go, oh my gosh, he was amazing in that.
Right.
Wait. We always used to say, like, the NHL coaching staff would always say, just wait till Monday. Let's see when he's out there on the ice against Shane Doan and see how he does.
Yep.
So when you're playing against men instead of 18-year-old boys. So the first day of main camp is where you start to separate, the cream from the milk.
A couple other just quick hitting questions. Connor asked about Curtis Douglas, ready to suit up with the Coyotes or need more time with Tucson?
He's Tucson, period.
All right.
He's not a Coyote.
I don't know how to say Jormungander. Sorry. Anson is 20. Will he be back in the OHL or does he have a chance to play in the ECHL? Anson Thornton.
Goaltender. But this could be interesting.
Yeah.
At his size, I think he needed to play better in junior than he did.
Yes.
I think he needs to develop more in juniors. However, we talked about the limited number of roster spots for goaltenders at his size and his age. East Coast League, not
a bad thing.
Not impossible.
I could see that. I don't think he belongs in the A.
Absolutely not.
He needs someone to push Prosvetov.
He won't play.
Right. But the ECHL, maybe.
That's a maybe. Yeah. Only because of his size and physical maturity. I think that's a maybe. I still believe he needs to go back to the OHL and be the guy.
Me too.
And carry a team in the OHL. I think for goaltenders especially, you need to be playing at the top of your game.
Yeah, you need to excel where you are before you move
Exactly.
Yep.
But the East Coast League, the one thing about the East Coast League, you're going to play a lot of games and you're going to see a lot of pucks.
Yeah.
I think that's where a goalie can really develop his game. So I won't say absolutely no to Thornton. I would predict he's back in junior, but the only other path for him would be the East Coast League.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a ton more questions in the chat, but we will save some because I'm sure we'll get some more clarity next week. People asking about Josh Doan.
Josh Doan, you make some quick comment on him.
Josh was interesting. Like, first of all, when he left ASU after two years, people thought that was a mistake. They thought he needed more development. Then he got to the A. Granted, it's a small sample, but he got down there. He played well. He played well in his regular season games and showed something in the playoffs as well. So I think he took a step forward. He didn't look out of place in Tucson after only 2 years of college. So that's a good sign. Josh is the kind of guy where I think if you have injuries or something, could they give him a look? Could he get a taste of NHL action?
Bring him up against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
That would be something, huh? But I don't think Josh Doan's ready to play in the NHL yet. No, he needs development.
He needs a full year in the American League to develop. Could he get a game? Yes. Somebody asked Bertuzzi. No.
Nope.
Tyler Bertuzzi's going to go for a team ready to win the cup.
Yeah.
And that ain't this one.
Yeah. So just to summarize, they're not shopping for those big names. They're shopping for value guys, as Craig said. And we'll know. I mean, 9 a.m., you start to see them rolling in right away. It's always a fun time. And obviously, Craig will know it sooner rather than later. So you can maybe. I mean,
free agency's tough.
We'll have it on our.
This is for national guys.
You can go on our Twitter at least at PHNX_Coyotes because we will retweet or promote whoever does have it. So check that out. And then on Monday, hopefully we'll have a couple of names we can talk about as guys that are going to be on this roster in October.
We do this again on Monday?
Yeah.
But we're off Tuesday, buddy.
Yeah, we are off Tuesday,
no,
4th of July.
When we say we, you mean you're out. I'm going to the rink.
You
are.
made that choice for
You're
you.
going to go to Dev Camp on the 4th of July. Good.
Hey, what am I going to do at the 4th?
Make sure you produce some good content,
4th of July at 11 in the morning. What the hell? Wait, am I have fireworks at 11? Is there a parade I'm missing?
I have a family. They'd like to see me.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
You're going to go, there's a downtown Gilbert parade. You're going to dress up as Uncle Sam?
No, I will not go to parades. I am not a parade guy.
We'll
grill out. We're going to grill out,
What are you going to do?
We're going to grill out. I'm going to make breakfast.
At 11?
No, we're going to make breakfast. We'll have a big breakfast. It'll be about eating. That'll be a day of feasting.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll be in bed at 8. I don't care. What the fireworks, just keep them down in my neighborhood, please. If you've got little firecrackers and
sparklers, the earmuffs on Wiley.
Take them somewhere else.
Put the earmuffs on.
He doesn't care. Doesn't care. Doesn't bother him a bit.
That's great.
They bother me. They bother me. Do not do it. We had a guy in the neighborhood. Like, what does that? Okay, 3 seconds. What did that do for you?
I don't know. terrible either.
I don't get it.
I gotta admit, I don't get it either. We have neighbors who do it every year, and I'm just like,
buddy, go. I get it when you want to take your 8-year-old to see the big ones.
right.
And even then, ooh, over it. I've seen them. They're red, they're green, they're blue. Ooh, Fireworks are the biggest letdown I've ever had in my life.
Totally agree.
Ooh.
I totally agree.
Adults that go that,
I want to see them like
ooh.
over water, like while I'm doing something really fun.
If they're
but
synchronized
if
to
they're
music,
the main attraction, nah, I'm not going.
synchronized music and the shape of the Statue of Liberty in red, white, and blue, I'm in. Other than that,
or the stuff that like Gandalf
Ooh.
created in Lord of the Rings, where it's a dragon
my
flying over you.
goodness.
That's you
So
want to
don't-
impress me? Bring that.
Pinnacle Reserve 2, keep that shit out. No bang bang. No sparkler.
It's coming.
So
Plus, it scares the hell out of dogs. Like dogs freak out. Don't leave your dogs outside on the 4th of July. Okay.
I'm 55. My first sparkler I held at 53. My wife couldn't believe it. She goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah. What am I gonna do with a sparkler? Ooh, like what do I do with it? Ooh." Okay, there was my 4th of July rant. Sorry.
That was a good rant.
My goodness.
See, but we were in agreement on it. We thought we were going to have an argument today. We haven't had an argument yet.
You know,
Because you're dead on.
PD does not find fireworks fun, but I know he does find Octane Raceway and Mavericks fun.
I do.
You actually do.
I swear
It's fun
I do.
for everyone, yeah.
Legit do. I will say I was a little awkward putting your glasses on with the helmet. So here's a tip. At the raceway, because if you wear glasses, you need glasses to drive. Well, Craig doesn't, which is frightening, by the way.
This is Craig.
Put the helmet on first, flip up the goggles, then put your glasses on. That's a tip from a dad.
There you go.
Helmet on, visor up, glasses on.
Great tip. Great tip. Yeah, lots of great stuff to do at Octane Raceway and Mavericks. Kart racing, virtual reality, laser tag, axe throwing, bowling, arcades, great food and drinks, multiple bars, giant TVs everywhere, 4 Peaks on tap, tons of different events throughout the summer. Check out octaneraceway.com and mavericks.com to learn more. Could be a fun activity, especially as it heats up. It
is cool.
It's a fun thing to do, but inside, you know. So love that. Camp is kicking off on Monday. It will be in the afternoon Monday. So when we come for our show Monday at 11 a.m., we'll talk whatever free agent news happens over the weekend.
And then go there.
And then we're headed to the Ice Den for development camp. So we're really excited for that. The first 2 days are open to the public.
Yep.
So if you're able to go. If the best place to be when it's 115 out is inside a hockey rink, in my opinion. Get to see the future. Logan Cooley will be there. Geeky, Lamoureux. It's going to be, I think, Dylan Gunther, Josh Stone. Yeah, like this is the future of the Coyotes.
There'll be a lot of goalies there.
A lot of tall people.
Yeah,
where are your high,
I'm
where are
actually
your high
really
heels?
looking forward to seeing that.
The goalies?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that 6'7" goalie on skates? Leah's quite tall. Fair? What are you?
I'm 5'9.5".
Okay,
yeah.
that's relative. I'm about
For
we're
a
about the same
woman,
height.
yeah, like
We're about
that's
the same height. 5'9". He's 6'7" on
like
the ground.
flat, yeah.
Add another 3-4 inches.
With
like
skates.
Oh my god!
Insane,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can you please interview him with the skates on?
I
can't
should.
wait.
Yeah, I absolutely.
I really think I should actually.
Yeah, actually, you're the.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But
like a child next to him.
it was great meeting these guys at the draft whirlwind, but excited to talk to them more next week. So stay tuned for that content. But we do have a special Walkin' and Talkin' that we're actually going to drop on the show right now.
Who's it with?
Who's it with, Petey?
It's with Tanner Ludtke.
Where's he from?
Where's he from?
He's from Minnesota then.
Oh,
yeah?
shocking.
Oh, yeah. We think he is. Because there was a question that you're supposed to, it's like a litmus test for Minnesotans.
Ooh.
And they get that question right. We'll see how he did.
How long is this video?
Just a couple minutes, I think.
I don't know.
And how long does Tanner actually talk versus Petey talking?
I
Guess
talk a
we'll
lot.
find out. Guess we'll
I
find
do
out.
talk a lot. I'm sorry.
All
Walking
right.
and talking. It's not walking and interviewing. It's a different. We're talking. It was fun. It's great to get another Minnesotan, and there's more to come.
Yeah. Well, without further ado,
World premiere.
Walking and Talking with Tanner Ludtke.
Steve Peters with PHNX and a very special edition of Walkin' and Talkin'. Today we've got Coyotes third-round draft pick Tanner Ludtke, and big surprise, he's from Minnesota. So I thought we'd have a little chance to talk a little Minnesotan. First of all, we have to talk about the draft.
Oh yeah.
And so when you hear your name, what's that feeling?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy. You kind of black out for a little bit, I think, but just having my family here and a bunch of my friends is pretty special. So
Well, did you guys come down? Did you drive down?
No, we flew down, but 2 of my friends drove down yesterday, and I was just sitting by the pool, and they walked up. I had no clue.
Now, I am going to say this because I can, because I'm from Bemidji. Do you hear a little bit? Do you hear the little bit? Oh, yeah, it's there a little bit then. It's there, but it's okay.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
Buddy, when you get to Arizona, I'm all about it. So one of the things we always have talked about in Minnesota is what is your lake? Everybody says they go to the lake on the weekend.
Oh,
Where is your lake?
I would say Prior Lake. Prior Lake. My buddy's got a jet ski, so we rip it around.
See, I'm a Bemidji guy, so it's Lake Bemidji, but
Yeah.
we're way the hell up there north. So
That's
it's
far.
Yeah, for sure. And when you look at Arizona, have they talked to you a lot coming into this? Did you talk to you at the interviews? Is this a team that you thought you were on their radar?
Yeah, I felt really highly, actually. I mean, I knew in the 3rd round, every time they had a pick, I kind of was maybe gripping it a little bit. So.
And how does it feel like when you're from Minnesota and Arizona? Let's be honest, they take some hits in the media. What goes through your head when you hear it's the Arizona Coyotes? Is that excitement, or is it And I'm being completely sincere. They have a tough time sometimes. So what goes through your head?
Yeah, obviously, a few stuff in the media, but
See, that's the kind of show we have here. It's okay. We'll get to the end and then we'll stop.
yeah, I love it. No, I'm pumped up. I mean, I love the city. I love the state. My grandparents live there.
Oh,
so,
seriously?
Yeah, I would
Where
go
are they
all
in the
time.
valley?
Sun City West.
Buddy.
Yeah.
So there's a quick trip to wherever they will be playing by then.
We're dialed in.
Yeah, so you were played for the Lincoln Stars. You're
Yep.
going to University of Nebraska Omaha in the fall.
Yeah.
And University of Nebraska Omaha is playing where? At the Mullet. So
Oh,
you're actually
yeah.
going to get a chance to play in the Mullet. Are you excited to get a chance to play in Arizona? That could be your future home. Are you looking forward to playing in the Mullet?
Oh, pumped up. I mean, just seeing the crowds they bring in there for whether it's college game or pro games, it's packed every time. So it should be pretty special.
So when you, again, we both grew up in Minnesota, buddy, it's cold there. So are you looking forward to it, like wearing a golf shirt to practice?
Oh, 100%. Shorts, flip-flops maybe.
Okay, I'm going to take you back to your childhood. You playing a game in the backyard
Yeah.
in Elko, just outside Lakeville,
Yeah.
in the metro area, and you're playing a game, and the game, all the kids sit in a circle, and you go duck, duck,
Goose. Gray duck?
buddy, from Minnesota.
Is it gray
It's
duck?
Gray duck.
All right,
It's gray duck. Duck to goose? Buddy, he just literally failed the first test of Are You a Real Minnesotan? Buddy.
Oh, it's
That's
a tough
awful.
luck on me.
I am so excited to have another Minnesotan in the Valley. Thanks for taking a little walking and talking. We'll see you next time. Tune into the PHNX YouTube channel. We got a draft recap today. We'll see you real soon.
The highlight for me on that, other than he recovered.
He did recover.
And almost failed the Minnesota test, is when he said his grandparents live here in Sun City. So we talked to him more off air about that after, and he comes out here every Christmas as a little child, and they would go to games. At the time, it was Jobbing.com Arena. He had his own Coyote jersey.
Unbelievable.
And so when you find that connection, he was actually, every kid goes, oh, I'm so pumped to be drafted by this team. He truly is pumped to be drafted by this team. He had the Coyote jersey, went to the games
Got a
there,
connection.
and his family is still here, and they still come out here to the Valley. So it's really, it was really kind of sweet to see. And the big thing about all of these guys to me is they're kids.
Yeah, and you see it in that moment, don't you?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was so much fun.
I'm always
seeing these
reminded of that
personalities.
at the draft. Just the raw excitement on these kids' faces. It's that's
it's really fun.
a real plus of being at the draft.
It was fun. So we did have a really good time. We got a lot of work, but it was nice meeting all these guys. And
Great
now
guys, all of them.
next
All
week,
12 of them.
next week,
Oh, we didn't meet 12. Some weren't there.
but next week we're going to get to see a lot of them.
Yes, we are.
Allie said in studio already after a 5 a.m. flight. Y'all are the best. Great work this week. Completely dominated the
By
coverage.
the way, Allie.
And I'm proud of y'all. Allie,
Yeah,
thank you. And
Allie was
Allie,
money.
thank you.
Yeah, Allie.
She went through some travel hell there and back. So
Yeah, and she dealt with the bugs.
yeah,
She was
appreciate you.
getting mosquito bites during the show, and she battled through it.
no.
Allie was absolutely fantastic. That was a lot of fun. The whole thing was fun. I'm glad
Amazing.
we had the opportunity. Now I'm looking forward to the next step. I am looking forward to development camp. I want to
Me
see some of
too.
these guys on the ice. And we're not going to evaluate them. I just want to see them there. I know Leah last year got a chance to talk to a lot of these guys and had a lot of fun with them. And I think that we've already talked, and we're going to have pretty good access. We're still hoping to do some really fun things over the next 5 days.
Absolutely. So yeah,
And beyond.
Buddy, let's get through Monday.
Oh man. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button on this video. If you're listening on audio, subscribe, leave us a review, and follow along. We have more draft content coming, more behind the scenes looks to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel coming this weekend. So hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live or drop a video. We'll be ready if any free agent signings happen with a 60-second summary on them. So stay on the lookout for that. But we're just trying to bring you Coyotes content 5 to 7 days a week. And I feel like that's what we've done.
Joel's already in the chat.
Yeah, Joel got back late last night.
Yeah, they flew an 11 o'clock flight out of Nashville.
Yeah.
I don't know if Joel, did we talk about him being a bouncer? Was that here? Or did we say that on air?
I was talking about that.
I was talking about that
before the show.
Yeah, Joel, one of our diehards, was the bouncer at our live
awesome.
event at 11 Exile. He stood in a chair and he kind of resembled the guy that could be a bouncer. And it's on the way to the restrooms, and he would wave people through like, yeah, it's okay. You can.
He does that. He has that quiet authority.
Yes, he does.
Standing there.
Yeah, he does. So Joel was the bouncer at 11 Exile, man. Great time.
Oh man.
Great time had. Can we go to bed now?
Yeah, we can go to bed. Follow along at PHNX_Coyotes on Twitter for free agency news, for development camp content. And you can follow each of us at S. Peters Hockey, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at Sean_DePaz. What a week. I can't believe it. And it doesn't stop anytime soon. We're going to keep going.
Nope, free agency story coming later. I'll probably have that up by this evening.
Yep.
So
go PHNX.com. Check it out as well. You guys, it's time to go to bed.
Hope
It's
I
time to
get it
go
up.
home.
Yeah,
let's go home.
Enjoy the rest of your Friday, everybody. And we will see you next week. Au revoir.